If you or someone in your family is like me and is doomed to eating gluten-free for the rest of your life, you might be like, if SHTF really happens, we're screwed. Or are we? Are we really at a disadvantage? I think we might even have it better. Today we're going to be talking about some gluten-free storage options for your gluten-free preps. I'm going to be talking about some medium, long, and short-term storage options for your gluten-free items, and hopefully to help you not make some of the stupid mistakes that I did when I first started prepping. In case you're new here, my name is Tina, and welcome to our channel Under 3 Acres, where I talk about all things gluten-free, canning, prepping, that sort of thing. Maybe a little bit of gardening, depending on the weather, because our season is really super short. We're a large gluten-free family. Both my oldest son and I are celiac, and a couple of our other kids and my son have half a dozen or so other, probably more, food allergies and intolerances. So our household is 100% gluten-free to avoid cross-contamination. I've been gluten-free since 2008, and we kind of started prepping during the pandemic. We started stocking up the pantry, and then we moved out to the country, and now here we are. In one of my first videos, I mentioned that we weren't crazy preppers. I mean, we are crazy for having 8 kids, but at the time we weren't preppers yet. So now I guess we're crazy preppers. That being said, I'm going to get to the point of this video. I'm going to share with you how I store my gluten-free preps to keep them fresh and good for as long as possible so that you can stock up as much as you can. We've been doing this now for a couple of years, and we slowly added to our stockpile, and that's the way I suggest to do it because gluten-free stuff is kind of expensive. While doing some research for this video, I was looking up how long gluten-free flour keeps. Some websites say 1 to 2 months, others say 6 months, others say longer if you put it in the freezer. I'm assuming they're talking about open packages because this unopened package is supposed to keep for another 15 months or so till next July. That being said, I'm going to share with you what I've experienced and how I've learned, because I've made a lot of mistakes, how to keep my gluten-free preps fresh and good for as long as possible. Keep in mind, I'm no expert. I loosely follow Best By dates and health and safety regulations. This works really well for packaging that is like this, that's a plastic package, and they don't stack very well on a shelf or anything like that. So I have buckets in the basement. This just happens to be one of them where I, keep my gluten-free flours. Not that one, but these, there might be a hole in that one. But these gluten-free pre-mixed stuff, I keep in buckets and bins like this. For efficiency, I like to keep them in the packages where they are. They keep a really long time if they're kept in a cool, dry place. The one thing that I do keep in its original package, but not in a bin, is flax. Ground flax goes rancid really quickly. I keep a lot of our dried goods in Tupperware like this, but I can never use up a package as quickly as I need to. If you use flax in your gluten-free baking, I suggest you do like me, and you just keep it in its original package in the freezer. I have a bunch downstairs in the deep freeze as well because they do go rancid if they're not kept really cold. And I don't want to be caught without, because that's happened before where for months on end we couldn't get any flax. And this leads me to the part where I think we're actually at an advantage over people who aren't gluten-free. We know how hard it is to find the things that are gluten-free, and it makes us want to be better prepared, whereas a lot of people just go, oh yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna go do my daily thing, and they don't even think about stocking up for an SHTF situation. It doesn't even have to be that SHTF-y, if that's even a word. We all had COVID. I mentioned that in my last video. We had COVID last fall, all 10 of us. And it was great to have a stockpile of food, a bunch of canned soups that I'd canned, and all the things that we needed in the house. So for like 2 weeks, we didn't need to go shopping. We didn't need to go out in the public at all. So that's what I kind of mean is like, we're at an advantage because we know what we need. We just go get it, put it away, and I'm going to show you how to store the rest of that. So if it doesn't come in a plastic package like this, it generally gets repackaged. We once bought a 50-pound bag, actually two 50-pound bags of oats. And I had that in my pantry video a long time ago. We had these two massive oat bags, and I left them. I opened one eventually, and I repackaged that one because I didn't want any of the kids to knock over half a bag of oats. So I repackaged that whole one, and I said I'll get back to the second one. Well, it was in a paper packaging bag, and one day my daughter went down to the cold storage and said, "Hey mom, there's mold on this bag." So I ended up turning most of it, what was good, what was above the moldy part, went to the pigs and we turned it into bacon. And the other half ended up on the compost heap. So that was an expensive mistake. So anything that comes in paper, that's not just the oats, but the sugar comes often in a paper packaging. All of that now gets repackaged into jars like this or into Tupperwares and my 5-gallon buckets with the gamma lids. The other thing that it's not paper, but it's cardboard, is this salt here. I used to keep these downstairs in my cold storage, and I learned the hard way that they absorb moisture. I should have known that watching as many history videos as I did, but I didn't think about it. I just put them in my pantry and they became hard as bricks. So if you have salt like this is my pickling salt. Sorry, that was the French side. As usual, it always shows the French side first. So if it comes in a cardboard box like this, I will keep it upstairs, actually in my linen closet, because it's nice and dry in there, or I put it in my jar like this when I'm using it a lot in the summer. So I don't store this downstairs, I repackage it, and my sugar I put in jars like this as well, because I don't want to have any debris or anything in it. I do not vacuum seal it, just in case anybody's asking. I do not vacuum seal my sugar when I put it in jars like this. Like, I put the metal lids on. You technically could vacuum seal it, but then it turns into a brick from what I've been told. So I will not do that. I've made enough mistakes in my pantry already. And that leads me to another way that we store our gluten-free preps. You can store dry goods in bulk in food grade buckets like these here. I prefer to put a gamma lid on them for ease of use. Gamma lids come basically in two parts. The bottom half you force onto the rim of the bucket, sometimes with like a mallet or something, and then the upper part you just screw it on. These were a real game changer for our large family because it allows us to store so much more food in a small space. Approximately 50 pounds of sugar fits in a 5-gallon bucket, about 20-25 pounds of oats. Put rice in there. I can't remember how many pounds of rice fit in there, but it's a lot, and it's stackable and it's easy to handle. When I'm canning and I need sugar or any of the things that are in buckets, I just bring it upstairs and then I just scoop as many for each recipe that I need. It makes it super easy and convenient, and even kids can open them. So if you have arthritis or anything like that, they're really easy to keep your foods safe, dry, whatever, and easy to get access to. Another great option for your gluten-free preps is these food saver bags, or using a food saver attachment for your mason jars. For example, like this is just our bread mix. I put it in here and put it in this food saver so that I already have it, all the ingredients. So if I'm in a pinch or want to go camping, I just take one of these along. It's a great option. It keeps it super fresh. I keep these downstairs in my cold storage. You can throw them in the freezer too if you're worried about the flax inside them. So this is a really great option for things that you want to keep for a really long time. I talked about earlier the cardboard boxes. These come in cardboard boxes, so I just put them in the jar and then use the food saver, and then I just sealed that shut. I'll put my lid back on, and I'll just store those away until I need them. So far we talked mostly about long and mid-term storage options. My short-term storage options are mostly, ooh, that was cloudy, are these Tupperware containers, and I have several of them and some jars, especially the mason jars. And you keep the lids that don't work anymore or you've used them already, and I just keep my spices and other things in my jars here, and I just keep those in the cupboard, and they keep everything fresh. So I hope that gives you a few ideas. The one last thing that I want to touch on that I don't use yet, I have some of these oxygen absorbers, and I just don't have any Mylar bags. I've used these in jars like this. but I haven't used the Mylar bags. I just haven't gotten to that part of the journey yet, but that'll be coming soon, I hope. Well, I hope that helps you guys with your gluten-free preps. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, and we'll make more videos like this for you. We've got some other gluten-free prepping videos to get you started on your journey. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.